All right. So I just wanted to make this video because I was thinking while working at the end of the shift, look at me, now I'm making videos at nighttime, the end of the shift. Oh yeah, I'm that kind of working class guy. Oh yeah, working class hero in fucking effect. So now the NIH has had to admit that our government did in fact fund the research that became the Wuhan laboratory, the Wuhan virology thing with COVID. So now the NIH has admitted it. So fundamentally, this is at the stage of everything that the right wing has said has been not just correct, but absolutely confirmed. So I just want to make sure, for the record, that I tell everybody who watches my channel, remember where this story ends. This story ends at Microsoft Genomics, the official webpage, because it turns out Wuxi app and Wuxi code has come up. Yes, in another person's video, Wuxi app came up. So those guys that you might be familiar with, ADV China, that guy Lao Wai, the motorcycle rider, he ends up making a video about biogenic weapons, about weapons that are basically designed to kill off specific races of people. So what does he do? He goes basically through the industry of genomics in China and how China has pretty much a lock on the genomics market. This was something that I never really mentioned before, but I basically kind of always suspected. There is probably a whole bunch of laws throughout the developed world, the world of the round eyes, that says you can't go collecting a library of genetic data on people and specifically trying to get genetic data, because most of the world of the round eyes is the world of diversity, because Europeans love having non-Europeans in their countries. So what basically I figured out was that China was going to have to do this kind of research because China would have, one, no rules against collecting such data, and then two, they would do such a thing because they own their people. Their people don't really have rights in the People's Republic of China. There's not a thing like human rights or civil rights. They don't have that like our system does. So collecting their genetic data and logging it all in a library actually makes a lot of sense, because they would be basically preserving the people's information. America selling it all also makes perfect sense, because that's how we really are. But the idea of not and Europe would never be down with this, because in Europe it would be absolutely protected information. So I'm thinking they were trying to avoid a whole bunch of potential conflicts by having first China do such experimentation and such data collection, and China can also have, basically such a completely unregulated data collection in the form of the actual data storage. That the storage wouldn't have to necessarily be secure in China, but also it could be secure in China, because of course China would absolutely lock down and totally secure their web. So, and which they do. They now everybody's essentially kind of locked out of China right now. So the last place that all of this ends up with all the COVID stuff is us dealing with the fact that Microsoft, with a venture capital effort led by the CIA and by DARPA, helped weaponize fundamentally the common cold. That they literally weaponized the common cold. By the end of this, the level of betrayal, the level of crimes against humanity by organized Western governments and stuff like that, and intelligence agencies and all that business, is going to be the greatest betrayal ever imagined by humankind. That's where the story will end. That's the end of the story of COVID, and that Bill Gates will end up being one of the greatest supervillains ever imagined, ever. Now, another thing about this is, too, remember who Bill's friend is. Bill's friend is Epstein. And Epstein, as anybody who knows about the Canadian genomist that all of us on the right, some of you might remember who I'm talking about. Well, you see, the Genomics. I am Canadian. I am from the French-speaking provinces. My wife is not retarded. She is just a little weird. And she really has strange things to say about Sir Richard Spencer. God, that was one of the most epic things. Where you're just like, dude, get your crazy fucking weird retarded wife out of the room, bro, when you're streaming. Holy shit, bro, the things this woman says. So that's where the story's going to end. We've been right about everything we've said has come to pass, has come to fruition. Now, the biggest thing, the reason why I'm thinking Australia and New Zealand are doing what they're doing, I think they're dick deep in this. I think Australia is way deeper in this research than they want anyone to know. I think there's something that we just don't, we can't even fathom yet that Australia did, which makes me wonder, being that you never hear about Aboriginals. Did they sell Aboriginal data? Did New Zealand and them is there something funny going on with the poorest ranks of the indigenous people of Australia and New Zealand, and like maybe genetic experimentation or logging their genetics in China? It's just one of those things where I'm like, when you don't hear a term for a while and you're like, what? I never hear about that. Like when you don't hear about Turkey for too long, you're like, something's going on with Turkey. You hear about the Middle East, you hear about jihadists, you hear about all this stuff, but you don't hear about Turkey. Wait a second. Turkey has nothing. Like when you don't hear about Pakistan, it means Pakistan's probably balls deep in your ass. Oh yeah, they're screwing you. They're screwing you somehow. Just that's what we have found out working with Pakistan, and not approaching them as a potential enemy of sorts that we could never fathomlessly bad nation to be involved with. But the whole thing is because it's so fucking unstable. That's the whole reason why. It's this make-believe country that's unstable as shit. And so that's why it's like it's a perfect place to have some like criminal intelligence agency running it as its own fiefdom, as its own was it not a sitar, not a citra. Oh, I can't believe I'm forgetting. Satrapy. Yeah, it's its own satrapy. I think that's the term from Islam. I'm sure somebody will correct me on that. But yeah, I just want to make sure to bring that up. We've been right. We were right. We are right. We've been totally right. Everybody else gets to eat the applesauce. They lost. And now what the whole deal is now, for anybody out there, the whole thing is you just keep showing up to work. You make them tell you can't be here. You just keep showing up. Because now it's at the stage where, I mean, even my job, they could barely afford having enough people on staff to train new staff. The minute the going gets rough, people get the fuck going. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like. I've never imagined anything like this in my entire life. In the being in the workforce, I've been in the workforce since I was 14 years old. I've never imagined I'd see something like this. It's incredible. All right, just thought I'd put that out there. Gonna see what the latest is on the old YouTubes. Try to get a decent amount of sleep. I'm trying to make sure that, because this is a, so basically it's a 10-hour, it's a 9-hour shift. It's a 9 to 10-hour shift. It ends up being. So I just end up being like kind of blown away sometimes by like how much work I'm putting in. The thing is though, it's just, I've got this feeling, if I keep with it, what I will know how to do, how many things I'll know how to do, will be a serious leveling up for me. And then I have all these other opportunities. I have a lot of other opportunities. If I just work hard. And that's the deal is, I had years and years where I didn't have to work all that hard. And now I'm facing it. And I have to work real damn hard for a little while. But it's going to be good. Hard work is good work. And so because of my weird schedule that I've been doing, I'm just a lot of times I just don't know, like, should I stream my reading? Should I just record it? So I'm probably going to be recording little bits and pieces of readings. Yeah, sorry I can't stream them for a while. But when I'm off, I will be getting back onto it. I will. It just was that kind of thing, that first month that I'm just like learning all this new stuff. So, all right. Whew. I need to relax. All right, later.